Did you miss us? Welcome to WMUK, and today we'll be counting down our picks for the top 10 genius Sherlock quotes. Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. For this list, we've looked at some of the cleverest and most memorable quotes from all 4 seasons of the hit BBC show Sherlock.
Actually, do you know what? Ignore me.
Sorry?
Ignore all of that. It's just the shock talking.
Number 10. Your mind, it's so placid. Saying that Sherlock gets restless without a case to work on is an understatement. In fact, some of his best moments happen to be when he's trying to fill the time in between murder mysteries.
Been at the scratch cards again, we all know where that leads, don't we?
Whether he's shooting at a wall, rummaging for cigarettes, or simply trying to demean John, he just can't seem to sit still. You can't argue that during these periods, he's at least a little creative with his insults though.
Your mind, so placid, straightforward, barely used.
Don't be afraid to say what you feel, Sherlock, eh?
I need a case!
You've just solved one by harpooning a dead pig, apparently.
That was this morning.
Number 9. The game is on, solve it. Despite all of Sherlock's apparent arrogance, however, if anyone can put him in his place, it's John. So when Major Sholto locks himself in his room to accept his death, Sherlock has very little time to figure out a way to help him.
You're the famous Mr. Holmes. Solve the case, on you go.
A few choice words from John, however, and the problem is soon solved.
You're a drama queen. Now there is a man in there about to die. The game is on. Solve it!
If you want to get this guy's attention, then insult his intellect. John clearly knows his partner's weak spot, and the sharp raising of his voice does the trick. He's just a glorified babysitter, really.
Though in fairness, he's a drama queen too.
Yeah, I know.
Number 8. Is it nice not being me? Sherlock has an undeniably amazing brain. What's strange, though, is how baffled he gets when everyday people can't quite keep up. When Holmes finally deduces the meaning behind the message carved into the floor during the series premiere, he's typically amazed that no one else has figured it out.
Rachel! Did you see? Rachel!
And in typical to-the-point fashion, he wastes no time inferring his own intelligence.
Is it nice not being me? It must be so relaxing.
If making people feel small were a national sport, Sherlock would be the world champion. Number 7. Brainy's the new sexy. And like most other things, Irene Adler's a mystery to Sherlock from the get-go. He just can't read her like he can everyone else. And seeing as he claims to have no interest in forming relationships, Irene poses a persistent problem to him. So when she announces that she likes detectives because Brainy is the new sexy, Sherlock's uncharacteristically taken aback and even stumbles over his words. It's rare, but it can happen.
Brainy's the new sexy.
Number 6. You being all mysterious. Devoted fans of the show wax lyrical on the friendship shared between Sherlock and John, so even the slightest compliment from one to the other can send the fandom into a frenzy.
What's the matter? We'll get called. No, we won't. Well, not just yet. Called in 5 minutes.
So it's no real surprise that his quote is so well liked. After all, John's summary of his enigmatic buddy is pretty accurate.
Oh, please, can we not do this time?
Do what?
You being all mysterious with your cheekbones and turning your coat collar up so you look cool.
And he's not the only one to comment on Sherlock's cheekbones. Irene Adler has too. Holmes's disbelief just isn't fooling anyone. Number 5. That's the frailty of genius. It needs an audience. This is one of the many Sherlock quotes that actually makes you think. The killer from the first episode, and the main villain throughout the series, Moriarty, needs constant recognition for the crimes that he commits.
Frailty of genius, John. It needs an audience.
And Sherlock knows it. Chances are Holmes is only so sure of the idea because he relates to it himself. He clearly enjoys the attention he gets from being a genius detective after all. So, it's sentiment straight from Sherlock's own soul, even if it does relate to an evil maniac.
Who hunts in the middle of a crowd?
I don't know, who?
Haven't the faintest. Hungry?
Number 4. Did you miss me? As one of the most often repeated lines in the series, this had us questioning everything. Was Moriarty dead? How could he possibly be back? Of course we missed you, but what the heck is happening? The 4th series received very mixed reviews, but it definitely had plenty of show-stopping moments, all set up by this 4-word phrase.
Did you miss me?
And despite the seemingly conclusive events of Series 3, the writers clearly weren't ready to let go of Moriarty just yet. And can you really blame them? Andrew Scott's character is one of the best bits about the show.
Did you miss me? Did you miss me? Did you miss me?
Number 3. Don't move, don't speak, don't breathe. I'm trying to think. Poor Anderson is always the butt of the joke. Even when Sherlock's telling everyone in the room to shut up, he still singles out the Scotland Yard officer to make sure he's especially offended.
Shut up, everybody! Shut up! Don't move, don't speak, don't breathe. I'm trying to think. Anderson, face the other way. You're putting me off.
Anderson did call Sherlock a psychopath mind, rightly or wrongly, so he did kind of bring it on himself. And in all honesty, some of the funniest moments in the show are when this guy gets humiliated by Sherlock for nothing more than simply being there.
Everybody quiet and still. Anderson, turn your back.
Oh, for God's sake.
Get back now, please.
Number 2, Anderson, don't talk out loud.
Ah, Anderson. Here we are again.
It's him again. Anderson can never quite get a word in with Sherlock around, and when he finally does, he just gets shot down. In the early episodes especially, he's one of the few people that doesn't fully appreciate Sherlock's work, which is probably why he's ridiculed so much. Like here in the opening case, as Sherlock begins to place the clues despite Anderson's obvious lack of faith.
So we can read her emails, so what?
Anderson, don't talk out loud. You lower the IQ of the whole street. We can do much more than just read her emails.
He's put in his place quickly and effectively though. Number 1, I'm a high-functioning sociopath. Used a few times throughout the show, it's probably the most famous line of all.
According to someone, the murderer has the case, and we found it in the hands of our favourite psychopath.
I'm not a psychopath, Anderson. I'm a high-functioning sociopath. Do your research.
Not many things can offend Sherlock, but he seems to get right riled up whenever he's called a psychopath. It's quite understandable, really. But Sherlock's most angry not about the general insult, but about the fact that he's been misdiagnosed, and he'll waste no time in correcting the term.
You're a bloody psychopath.
High-functioning sociopath. With your number.
Oh, and don't ever call him a hero either. Charles Augustus Magnuson tried that, only to get the same answer, but a far bloodier end result.
Oh, do your research. I'm not a hero. I'm a high-functioning sociopath. Merry Christmas!
Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from WatchMojo UK and subscribe for more great content.